Like that makes Ted Cruz look crazy. It's crazy like a fox. Here to talk about what his motives might be, McKay Coppins, senior writer for BuzzFeed. What is Ted Cruz up to?
Well, you have to understand the politics and kind of the shadow primary that's been going on in the Republican Party for the last year or so. Ted Cruz has widely been seen, along with Rand Paul, as the primary contender for the right-wing base in the Republican Party. But whereas
Ted Cruz and Rand Paul.
Rand Paul, they were kind of the main competitors for the Tea Party, right? Where Ted Cruz has tried to distinguish himself from Rand Paul over the past few months is on foreign policy and national security, right?
And there's a specific weakness Rand Paul has on Israel.
On Israel, right. So Rand Paul has actually for months, actually basically his whole career, been the pariah within the Republican Party when it comes to Israel, saying that, too much of the Republican foreign policy has revolved around Israel. He wants to cut off all foreign aid. And Rand Paul has tried recently to get closer to Israel, but Cruz is being smart here. He's very strategically smart here by saying, the thinking is there's a lot of money in the Republican base or in the Republican establishment for Israel hawks, right?
Right.
And so what he's done is emerge as the most hawkish pro-Israel Republican over the last few days.
This is policy entrepreneurship or political entrepreneurship. He's seeing an opportunity in the market that's untaken, which is demagoguing on the FAA, and he thinks that is going to distinguish him as he's the kind of guy that stands up for Israel, and that's going to help him with a certain part of the base, both not just donors, but voters as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I mean, you have to remember, a lot of evangelical Christians, conservative evangelicals, are very pro-Israel. So this isn't just a play for Sheldon Adelson, and although that's certainly part of it, his money, but there's a lot of socially conservative evangelical Republican voters who care a lot about this issue, and if they can see Ted Cruz coming out on Fox News and saying, I am 100% behind Israel, the FAA needs to think about this decision, this is a political conspiracy. When they see that happening, a lot of conservative voters are going to say, hey, this Cruz guy is better than I thought.
In fact, they just had the Christians United for Israel event, which is an organization of evangelical Christians that are very, very pro-Israel. This is an image, I think we have this, of Rand Paul praying with them. There he is. He's praying with the CUFI folks. And he realizes that he's got weakness here. I mean, he's done a bunch of things recently to try to get right on this issue.
He's actually made a big offensive on this issue, but Ted Cruz is so far ahead of him because several months ago, Ted Cruz came out and said, Rand and I differ on foreign policy. And he tried to make it sound very polite, but it was a shot across the bow, and he basically said, I'm an internationalist, I'm a neoconservative, I'm a Reagan Republican when it comes to foreign policy, which made Rand Paul and his camp very angry, and they responded very angrily. And ever since then, Rand Paul has tried to catch up, but he's never quite caught up. And you can see that today, that Rand, is, going to CUFI and doing what he can, but then you see Ted
He does not have the instinct the way Ted Cruz does for this.
Totally.
McKay Coppins from BuzzFeed, thanks for explaining that.
Thank you.
All right.